Hello friends, it's Julie, and today we are going to go through what postcards I've received in my trades and swaps, and also with Postcrossing and Postfun. As a postcard I started off with postcard reselling, and then I started to say, hey, I kind of like these postcards. And now I'm like, I just want to be a part of exchanging postcards with other people the way people did back in history. So it's really been kind of interesting, and I'll tell you about that as we go here. And the first set that I am going to, I should mention, yeah, I am glowing here. This is a heated vest. This is my Christmas gift. We have been married for 26 and a half years. We just buy our own Christmas gifts. You know, it's just the way it goes. We used to just say, order this for me, and we'll just buy our own. So anyways, this stack here is what I have been doing with my Sunday Coffee Friends and Postcards group. It's a Facebook group, and it's kind of fun because every Sunday they open up a thread and you will exchange certain postcards with each other. So this one is, I forgot to mention this last time because it was on my bulletin board. I know I didn't poke a hole in it. It's set in there. I don't like it when they have holes in them. But isn't this perfect? Because it has a lady knitting, and she's knitting the snowflakes. And on the back, by the way, I don't mind it if you see my address because it is a post office box. You know, it's down below. But these are the stamps. All right, and I think the stamps are interesting too. Okay, here is a lenticular postcard. So it changes. I know you're gonna get some glare of San Francisco. And it's kind of fun, isn't it? And then this is the stamp. That one. So these are all the swaps. And then this was a handmade card. So I believe that she may print them herself or have them printed. But she's offered me a couple, and it's kind of unique. And then just a regular barn stamp. That's pretty standard right now. We have a wine. They just did a forever stamp on the postcard, and it was sent in the USA, so they didn't have to do that. They could have just put the 40-cent stamp on, but some people just like to do that. Okay, this one is from Germany. There are a lot of Germany people who would swap postcards. Here's a fun one. This is a Postcrossing postcard, and it is not from a postcrosser group, a regular barn. We have a one of these Vespa things or whatever, and another barn stamp. Here is, okay, so when we talk about, us postcard resellers, how in the past there are certain artists that people still collect today. Could there be some of these in my pile that 20, 30, 50, 100 years from now, people will be like, oh, you got one of those, that is worth $20, you know, maybe. Here's one of them that are popular now. Lou paper. And I'll show you on the back. Her signature is Lou paper. She has an Etsy shop, but she is very well known for these scenes, and she has done the States and some holidays and stuff. So this is just a regular fish stamp. That's one of the things that maybe is very collectible now. Maybe they will be collectible in 100 years. Okay, so that's kind of a really neat crossover because I'm almost getting a taste of that, what it was like maybe in the golden age of postcards, even though we're not in the golden age of postcards, obviously. Okay, here is from another Germany, and what's really fun about this one is the David Bowie postage stamp. Yeah, I'm a child of the 80s. Here is another Lou paper, and this is Hawaii. And I don't remember if this was sent from Hawaii. Oh, yeah, it was. It's postmarked from Hawaii. And look at these fun stamps they included. Here is a butterfly and a flower vase. Another barn stamp. And more butterflies. These people kind of figured out I like butterflies. And another barn stamp. And look at how cute some of the people do it. These are puffy stickers. They made it through the mail. Some of these things I'm like really surprised and that they make it. And some of the things that don't make it, I'm like, what happened there? So here is a Katmai National Park. And this style is also popular. called Lantern Press. So there's another, maybe a publisher that maybe in 20, 30, 100 years, if we're not going to be around then, but maybe somebody will be collecting them. And then the nicely canceled postage stamps. Here's Lamington's recipe card from the South and another barn stamp. Oops. Ah, shoot. I just knocked over my postcards. Just all right. It's just paper. It's okay. Okay, then we have a postcard from Alabama and another barn stamp. And a beautiful butterfly postcard. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, I mean, people are finding out I like butterflies, but in reality, I would rather have sheep. But these are pretty too. It's not like I can say you must send me sheep and stamps. Then I requested this, Montana. And is this a Lantern Press? I don't know. Might not be. But a couple stamps there. We have Annapolis, Maryland, a view card. And we've got the C there. And this was a really fun one, an envelope. So this, sometimes we exchange cards. And I claimed this one. I said, I want this one. Nevermore. Edgar Allan Poe, be still my literary heart. And she put a little bit of part of the raven in there. This was really funny. And the sticker, I'm just winging it. Maybe chuckle. So that's really fun. All right. So then I have one card from my postcard pen pal group in Facebook. And that is just you put your address out there and somebody will send you a card if they feel like it. There's no obligation. So this one, Virginia Museum of Transportation. And we have a barn stamp. And finally is my group of Postcrossing. It is really picking up, guys. So it took me about a month to get my first Postcrossing card. What I did was I sent all of the postcards. I think you can send 5 in the beginning. I sent them all out in one batch. And as soon as one was registered, I sent the other one so I could get it going really quickly. What they do is as soon as your first sent postcard is received, your address goes up to be sent to other people to send you a postcard. So it takes about a month or so. Okay, so let me show you what I got. This is like the official stuff. Here is Germany. If I can, really pretty view, and look at these pretty stamps. I really am enjoying seeing these stamps. And here's Pike Street Press. It is a recycled postcard, handcrafted, eco-friendly, and this is the stamp they included. We have a calf. And that's kind of funny because there's going to be a lot of these around my house soon, but not quite like looking like this one, but more Charlet. And look at this wonderful stamp. And that one was from Spain. This here is one from the Netherlands. Oh, this is one of my favorites. Look at that. It's a sheep. It's an illustrated sheep. It's really cool. This is a Dutch sheep. And then she put those stamps on there. So I really love this one. And then the last one is a Pendleton one. And I think that they read that I like the fiber arts. So this is definitely a fiber art with the wool. So that's kind of neat that they did that. Another one from the U.S. and a barn stamp. So that's what I got. And I wanted to tell you my stats. So I have been doing this, I don't remember how long, but I will put that above if I remember. Hopefully I'll remember to go back and do that. But for Postcrossing, I have mailed 24 postcards. 7 have been received by the receiver. Okay. And 7 are still traveling. And I have received 12 so far. Now I'm doing Postfun, which is an app on your phone where you send, it's basically kind of like Postcrossing, but not as connected. It's more just, there's not a lot of extras. It's just you send these postcards and then they'll come back. You don't even really have interactions with anyone. It's just through the mail. So it's kind of interesting. And it's obviously not an American or U.S. or English-speaking country because there's a few things that are like, that's not quite how you would say it, and there's a lot of people in there from Russia and Eastern European. I've gotten some Ukraine, Belarus, that kind of stuff. So anyways, I have mailed 15 postcards through them. And I started it about a week after Postcrossing. 8 of them have been received by the recipients, and 7 are traveling. And I have received 0 from them so far. So it's kind of interesting that I've already received 12 from Postcrossing. So I'm wondering if some of these are coming from Russia, because it can take, a good month to receive them. From the time that, my postcards reach there, it could be a month later. So we'll see how that goes. The people have been very nice on there, so I'm going to keep going with it for a little bit. If I don't receive any postcards, in a month or two, I'm going to ask them why. Not that I am doing it all for the receiving, but it is supposed to be a swap. So anyways, so I want to just mention a little bit more about how, as a postcard reseller, this has been really fun for me. Because a lot of times when you see those old postcards, here, let me grab some. Like from the Golden Age, 1913, a postcard of the Science Hall. It's basically, your card received today, many thanks, come again soon. That's all they say. And then there's a lot of these that say, we're having fun here, wish you were here, we'll be home at this point in time. There's a lot of them that will say, here is the weather, it's snowing, it's raining, it's sunny, whatever, and this is what we're doing today, we're going to go out and see this, or we just saw that. So there's a lot of postcards that will do that. And then of course, you've got the old stamps on here, and it's just kind of fun. And then you've got some of these like this, I'm going to be here for this long, and a philatelic has robbed us one of its stamp, but I hope it was a good one. And then it's just been kind of interesting, because a lot of the stuff that people used to write on these postcards, people still do write. They still say, hi, I'm going to this is our weather, we just did this, or we're going to do this, hope you have a great day. It's kind of funny. It's just those simple messages are still kind of the same. And every once in a while you get a little bit more interest, but there's only so much room on the back of these postcards. Our modern cards are bigger. The standard to the continental, you have a little bit more room to add some notes, but not a lot. So it's been kind of fun to see that and addressed, and to have that fun of sending and receiving. And there are some postcards that will say, hey, here is another one for your collection, hope you like it, or I don't know if I've sent you this one yet. So there's a lot of people that are obviously sending just for the collecting, maybe to each other, or somebody said, well, when you go to somewhere, send me a postcard because I collect them, or I don't have one from there. And there's times when I see that where they say, I would like to receive a postcard from this place because I don't have that cancellation yet. We're here 100 years later, and so much is the same. So many of the things written on the back of the postcards are the same. I've encountered ones that say somebody has the flu, or somebody just died, or I'm not been feeling well, or we're just having so much fun, this person just had a baby. So there are so many things that are just the same as it was 100 years ago. And it's kind of really interesting to me to be almost a part of that golden age of postcard history. Even though it's 100 years later, we are, it's neat to see that there's still the interest today in sending these little pieces of paper to each other with a stamp in the mail, entrusting another stranger to our address. Even though I use my post office box for Postcrossing, I actually give out my actual address, with the thought, well, that's just the way I started, but it's also with the thought that if I ever do get a Postfun, it goes to my P.O. box, so I'll know the difference. But anyways, you're just entrusting a stranger and to write you something, and it's kind of neat to see the generosity and openness of people. And the more I read of the messages I get, the more that, we see that we are the same. This one, she said, I'm reminded how much we are alike. I'm currently trying to get a crow to be a friend. My last 4 dogs were rescues. I mentioned my dog was a rescue. I was once a weaver. I do spinning. I'm an avid reader, and I mentioned that I read over 100 books a year. And she also has a chronic illness, so we have so much in common. So once you start writing to somebody, you can find out how much worldwide. We are just all humans, whether it was 100 years ago or it's around the world. And I think I just had an address that I needed to send a postcard to with Postfun this morning, and it went to Russia. And I had this little thought of, there is going on right now some movement in Russia, Ukraine stuff. And I remember, I'm a child of the 80s, I mentioned, the Cold War. I remember having to think about what's going to happen if the nuclear bombs go off and we're all basically nuked. And I remember thinking that. And I remember things like the show The Peace Child and all those things that trying to bridge this together. And just thinking that there's so many postcards going out to between Russia and the U.S. and other places that, you know, we are still all the same, even though our governments are not. So it's just kind of interesting to see. I'm sending a card to a country who we might be having some conflict with. But it's all good, though. I mean, maybe doing those little things will help bring a little bit more peace to the world. Or maybe I'm getting a little too philosophical now. But it's just been really nice. And I would encourage you to try it. I will try to remember to link it below. Otherwise, you just Google it. Just Google Postcrossing. I would highly recommend Postcrossing over Postfun to start. It's been really interesting to see. And I will update you more when I have more to show you. So hope you enjoyed that and my rambling. And I hope you have a joyful day. Goodbye.